Understanding the differences between Class A, B, and C misdemeanors. If you're unfamiliar with the legal system, you may not know that there are different types of criminal offenses. But what happens when you're faced with legal trouble? How do you prepare for your trial when you don't understand what classifies as a crime and what determines the punishment? If you're charged with a misdemeanor and need legal advice, you can find expert lawyers through the search feature on our site at FreeAdvice.com. Whether you're a law student, an aspiring attorney, or just someone curious about the law, this video is for you. Have you ever wondered what happens when you commit a crime that isn't quite as serious as a felony? Well, the answer lies in the Federal Criminal Code. Every state recognizes lesser crimes known as misdemeanors. For instance, if you dare to enter someone else's vehicle, aircraft, watercraft, or snowmobile without permission, be prepared to face the consequences of a Class A misdemeanor. You could end up spending a whole year behind bars. And if you thought shoplifting was just a harmless crime, think again. Depending on the state, it could be classified as a Class B misdemeanor, resulting in up to 6 months in jail and a hefty $2,000 fine. Even if you're facing a Class C misdemeanor, you shouldn't take this charge lightly. These crimes will be recorded on your criminal history and could return to haunt you. So, it's best to always stay on the right side of the law. Now let's take a closer look. Every state has a system that categorizes crimes into Class A, Class B, and Class C misdemeanors. But what's the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony? Felonies are the more serious crimes that can lead to jail time. Misdemeanors, on the other hand, are less serious and may only result in community service or a minor fine. Imagine driving down the road, and suddenly a police car pulls you over. You start to feel anxious as the officer approaches your window. What did you do? Did you break the law? The answer to that question can mean the difference between a minor inconvenience and a life-changing event. If you were speeding, you might be facing a misdemeanor charge. A misdemeanor is a less serious crime that is typically punished by fines, community service, or a short time in jail. For example, a first-time DUI conviction is usually a misdemeanor. On the other hand, a felony is a more serious crime that is often punished by a long-term stay in either a state or federal prison. For example, armed robbery, murder, and kidnapping are all felonies. In other words, a misdemeanor is like getting a speeding ticket, while a felony is like being charged with robbery. The difference in consequences is significant. However, don't be fooled by the lower punishment range for misdemeanors. Ignoring a misdemeanor conviction can have long-lasting consequences. So it's important to understand the direct and indirect impact of the misdemeanor classification system to minimize any negative effects. Now, how do different states classify misdemeanors? Each state's penal codes determine the classification of misdemeanors. Alabama, Arkansas, Illinois, Kentucky, Missouri, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and Texas all utilize a letter system, which includes Class A, B, and C misdemeanors. What types of offenses would fall under Class A misdemeanors? Class A misdemeanors are the cream of the crop, whereas Class C misdemeanors are considered to be the least severe. Imagine getting into a heated argument and throwing a punch that lands and hurts someone. This type of altercation could land you in hot water with the law and be considered a Class A misdemeanor. Or you've come across a credit card that isn't yours and thought of using it for your own gain. That's a big no-no and could result in a Class A misdemeanor charge. Maybe you thought it wouldn't be a big deal to let a child play around while drugs were being dealt with. Unfortunately, this careless act could result in a Class A misdemeanor. Stealing from a store and destroying its property through vandalism could also land you in trouble as a Class A misdemeanor. And don't even think about trying to run from the law, as resisting arrest can also fall under this category. Now, what kind of offenses fall under Class B misdemeanors? Regarding Class B misdemeanors, several offenses could land you in hot water. Did you know that a first offense DWI is one of them? Or that exposing yourself indecently could also be considered a Class B misdemeanor? Not paying child support is another offense that could result in disclassification as a criminal charge. But what if you're caught with just a small amount of drugs? That could also be considered a Class B misdemeanor. And what if you harass someone or falsely report to a police officer? You guessed it, those actions could also lead to a Class B misdemeanor charge. Finally, you could have this type of charge if caught committing criminal trespass or criminal mischief. And lastly, which offenses are considered Class C misdemeanors? Class C misdemeanors encompass many crimes, from minor driving infractions to more serious offenses. Did you know that a traffic ticket could land you in this category? Or what about if you're caught in public while intoxicated? That's right, it's considered a Class C misdemeanor. But it's not just alcohol-related crimes that fall under this category. Simple assault, criminal trespassing, illegal gambling, bail jumping, leaving a child in a vehicle, and even possessing alcoholic beverages in a motor vehicle are all considered Class C misdemeanors. If you have a clean record or only a minor criminal history, you may have the chance to petition the court for probation or deferred adjudication. Probationary periods for misdemeanors tend to be shorter, lasting anywhere from just half a year to 2 whole years. Now, while a misdemeanor conviction may not land you behind bars or strip away your right to vote, it can still show up during routine background checks, potentially putting a damper on your chances of getting approved for housing or landing your dream job. So think twice before making any impulsive decisions. If you don't qualify for probation, you could face some time in county jail. And don't confuse this with state institutions for felons. Misdemeanors are usually served in local county facilities. But here's the thing. The maximums and minimums for Class A, B, and C misdemeanors vary from state to state. Class A misdemeanors typically come with the harshest sentence, usually up to a year in jail. Class B misdemeanors can be punished with a jail sentence ranging from 90 to 180 days. Meanwhile, Class C misdemeanors receive the lightest sentence, usually 30 days or less in jail. However, in some cases, these jail sentences may be waived in favor of fees, community service, or house arrest. And in some states, Class C misdemeanors may only result in fines. There's more to the story. It's important to remember that every case and situation is different. Some misdemeanor offenses come with enhanced punishments or additional penalties beyond the general guidelines. For instance, a simple Class A misdemeanor theft charge in Texas can turn into a felony if you have 2 previous theft convictions under your belt. Most states will immediately suspend your driver's license if you're convicted of a misdemeanor DWI or drug charge. It's important to watch out for those indecency statutes. A conviction for indecent exposure could land you on the sex offender registry. And trust us, being on the sex offender registry is not something you want to have following you around. In some cases, a Class A misdemeanor assault conviction could even lead to deportation if you are not a U.S. citizen. With so many collateral consequences to a misdemeanor conviction, never accept an easy time served offer without fully understanding the impact it could have on your future. Whether you're searching for housing or a job, many people only look at your registration status, not the details. So think ahead and be informed. Good news, everyone! The court system is cracking down on repeat offenders, and as a result, many courts have started offering diversion programs for misdemeanor defendants. With these programs, you can get the help you need through specialized counseling or treatment. and your charges could be dismissed once you complete the program. If your crime is minor and the jails are overcrowded, you might get lucky and be released ahead of schedule if you're deemed less of a threat, so don't lose hope. Criminal classifications can be confusing. I hope this video helped you understand the differences between Class A, B, and C misdemeanors. You can unlock the power of expert legal counsel with just a few clicks on FreeAdvice.com. Input your zip code into our search bar and discover a wealth of experienced lawyers ready to offer you their guidance and representation on any legal matter you may face. Plus, with a wide range of informative guides and articles at your fingertips, you'll have all the answers to your most pressing legal questions right at your fingertips. Remember that it's important to be informed about the laws in your area and always seek the advice of a qualified legal professional if you have any questions. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to our channel. You never know, our next video may cover a topic for which you've been dying to get answers.